Good morning, kiddos. I hope you guys are all doing really great this morning. I hope that you are staying safe. I want you to know that I miss you a whole lot, and I hope that you are working really hard on your homeschool material. But I wanted to come to you real quick. I know it's early, but I couldn't get you off my mind. I miss you, and so I decided that this would be the best way to contact you guys this morning. So you might remember that the other day we were reading a book called I Ran the Circus, and we were talking about rhyming words. So I had a question for you. What makes a rhyming word? How do you know that words rhyme? If you know the answer to that question, take a couple of minutes and run and tell your mom or your dad or your grandmother or anybody close to you what makes a rhyming word. So, if you guess that rhyming words have the same ending sound, then you would be correct. Parents, why is this so important? This actually helps us and helps your kids whenever they get ready to spell. If they will help to remember the different patterns that they can follow in language, and different words that have the same ending sound are actually spelled similar, that'll actually help them whenever they get ready to do their spelling test so that they can spell words correctly. And it actually helps with their reading because they learn to identify the same endings in different parts of words, and it makes it easier for them to recognize those words a little bit quicker. So one of the activities that we do in my classroom on a daily basis, and this is something very simple. You can do this at home. All you need is to find yourself an index card, a piece of paper, anything really will work, and just write the individual letters on each one of those. So make yourself just 26 different little letter tiles, and then you're ready to go. So when I'm talking about rhyming words, I'm talking about words that have the same ending sound. One of the things that we like to do is we like to manipulate the sounds. Okay, so one of the activities sometimes they'll do, and my kids will recognize this, sometimes I'll put a word up here that looks like this, and then we will simply tap out this word to see how I blend those sounds together. Now, you might be wondering why all three of these letters are on one card, and the simple reason for that is when we have a sound like ing, that can be very difficult to do each one of the sounds separately. So we like to teach the kids together that makes the ing sound. And you can just tell them to be careful for the end of this because that's one of their back sounds. So when they're making that G sound, it'll be in the back of their throat, because sometimes it's easy for kids to get simple sounds like K and G mixed up because they're made in the same part of the throat, or they're made in the same way, produced the same way. So if I had this word for my kids, I would ask them to tap it out, and they would tap it out like ing. And then I would say, okay, say it fast. And we would do something called ghost talking. Now, if you know anything about a ghost, a fake ghost, they like to hold out their sounds. So they might say something like, Nikki. So they don't just make the sounds short and concise, but they stretch them all out. So let's stretch these sounds out. Will you help me do that? Sing. Now say it fast. Sing. Now let's go back to our rhyming word talk. If this word says sing, then all I really have to do is take the beginning sound off, and I can put a new beginning sound in. And if they already know that this makes the ing sound, now all they have to do is change the beginning sound. So now we get k-ing. Say it fast. King. And so students begin to identify that I can make many different words. I can make wing. I can even make nonsense words like ch-ing, ching. And I can do multiple consonant sounds at the beginning to make rhyming words with this exact same sound at the end. Okay, so let's take it a step further. What if now I wanted to change the ending sound and create new rhyming words with a different ending sound? So let's see if we can do possibly just a consonant, vowel consonant word. This might be one. You'll also notice that these are on the same card. That's because they're a digraph, and my kindergartners are just learning that digraphs have two letters. but digraphs make one sound. And so we put both of those letters on the same card because they come together to make one sound. So if I were to tap this word out then, I would ask them to tap it with me and we would say ch-at. Now we would ghost talk that. Ch-at. Say it fast. Chat. Now, same thing applies. If I want to change the beginning sound now and take off the beginning sound and add a new consonant, now I have r-at, rat. And so I slowly begin to develop these things that we call word families. And so I have an at word family. And again, when I use that at, I get rhyming words. So I can make rat and I can make at fat and I can make at hat and I can even make at wat. Now you said that's just a silly nonsense word. Nonsense words are actually very important for our kids because they help me realize and they can help you realize if the students really know the sounds or if their brain is just beginning to recognize all of those words by sight. Now it may seem silly, you may not think that they need to know each of the individual sounds if they can read the whole word, but they actually do need to know those individual sounds because this will actually help them to decode brand new words as they're coming across those. So when they come across a new word, instead of simply guessing at that new word, they can actually use the sounds that they already know to read a new word and decode that word, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about our rhyming words and what makes a rhyming word, how about we see if we can finish up our Circus McGurkus. Okay, so you remember we were reading If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss, and we had just gotten to the part where they were getting ready. They had just finished up the kind of the pre-show, okay? And pre is an excellent prefix to help us understand that this actually happens before the real show. So now we were getting ready to go inside to the big tent and see what the Circus McGurkus had for us. But that's just my sideshow, a start, a beginning. This way to the big tent, you'll find your head spinning. Why, ladies and gentlemen, youngsters and oldsters, your heads will quite likely spin right off your shoulders. So hurry, step lively, quick, ladies and gents, and get in your seats in my tent of all tents. My parade of parades is about to commence. I love that word, commence. So it means it's about to get started. You'll see Drum Major Sneelock flying his baton, and my organ McGorgon McGurkus come on, with its hot steaming pipes of gold brass-plated tin, snorting all sorts of snorts in a bumbling din. This is super stupendous, 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 and when I play Dixie, please join in the chorus. All right, everybody, are you ready? Can you say Rorus Chorus? I think I heard you that time. Then a fluff-muffled truffle will ride on a huffle, and next in the line a fine flummox will shuffle. The flummox will carry a lurch in a pail, and a fibble will carry the flummox's tail. While on top of the flummox 3 harp-twanging snarp will twang mighty twangs on their 3-snarper harp, while a bolster blows bloops on a 3-nozzled blueser, a nolster blows floops on a 1-nozzled newser, and then comes a lion who's partly a trout, then more stuff for 45 minutes about. Here we go. I like this one. Say blueser newser. That's so funny. Blueser newser? What a great rhyming word. How about trout about? Can you say trout about? Trout about. Wonder if there's a good nonsense word that goes with trout about. Trout about. Flout, maybe? And then, behind them, then, while everyone stares, come my to and fro marchers who march in 5 layers. The fro's march on toes and the toes march on fro's. Don't know how they do it, but that's how it goes. Wow. Say fro's goes. Wow, that's a good one. Say toes, fro's goes. What about toes, fro's, bows goes? Wow, there's so many cool rhyming words we can do with that. And now comes an act of enormous enormance. No former performers performed this performance. This stunt is so grippingly, slippingly frightening. Down from the top of my tent like greased lightning. Through pots full of lots of big sticklebush trees slides a man, what a man, on his roller skate skis. And he'll steer without fear, and you'll know at a glance that it's Sneelock, the man who takes chance after chance, and he won't even rip a small hole in his pants. Wow. How about lightning frightening? How about grippingly, slippingly? Holy moly, what good rhyming words. I said holy moly. Holy moly is a rhyming word. And now here, in this cage, is a beast most ferocious, who's known far and wide as the spotted atrocious, who growls, howls, and yowls the most blood-curdling sounds, and each tooth in his mouth weighs at least 60 pounds. And he chews up and eats with the greatest of ease things like carpets and sidewalks and people and trees. But the great Colonel Sneelock is just the right kind of a man who can tame him. I'm sure he won't mind. Wow, that was pretty amazing. Ferocious, atrocious. Wow, that is an excellent, excellent rhyming word. Then I'll let Sneelock off for a few minutes rest, while high over your heads you will see the best of the world's finest, fanciest breezy trapezing, my Zuma Zoop troop from West Upper Bendizing, who never quite know, while they zoop and they zoom, whether which will catch what one, or who will catch whom. Or if who will catch which by the what and just where, or just when and just how in which part of the air. Trapezing, bendizing, that might be my favorite. What a circus, my circus McGurkus. My workers love work. They say, work us, please work us. We'll work and we'll work up so many surprises you'd never see half if you had 40 eyes. You know, I just thought about something. Dr. Seuss must have been really good at making up nonsense word. I have never heard of eyes. Surprises and eyes. So funny. And now, again Sneelock, brave Sneelock is back, risking life on my patented life-risking track, while the speedsters I call my colliding collusions race round in swift cars called abrasion contusions, and Sneelock just lies there, not one bit excited. I know he won't mind, he'll be simply delighted. Wow, these are getting good. Collusions, contusions. Whoa. If you want to impress Mom, go tell her contusions. Ask her if she knows what contusions is. Wow, that's a big word. And here, in a contest of brute strength and muscle, Kid Sneelock, my champ of all champs, will now tussle and wrestle a beast called the Grizzly Ghastly, and slap him around. Then he'll slam him down fastly and pin both his shoulders tight flat to the mat. Kid Sneelock will love it, I'm sure about that. And while that goes on there, look at this go on here. Have you heard of my herd of through horns jumping deer? Every deer jumps through horns of another pell-mell, while his horns are jumped through at the same time as well by a deer whose horns also are being jumped through by another who's having his horns jumped through too? While I'm sure Trainer Sneelock can train them to do. To do and pell-mell. Love it. Then the whole tent will ring with hoorays and wild shouts when I wheel in my whales and they turn on their spouts. First, my whale number 1, with an aim that aims true, spouts a spout that spouts Sneelock to whale number 2. And then whale number 2 spouts his spout like a gun, and that spout spouts old Sneelock right back to whale 1. And then forwards and backwards on spout after spout, my great spout rider Sneelock gets spouted about, just as long as the water they're spouting holds out. Now this is pretty interesting. I gotta show you this. I love how this whale spouts Sneelock over here, and this whale spouts Sneelock over here, and he goes back and forth and back and forth. Love it. Then my tournament knights, noble apes without fears, Sir Hector, Sir Vector, Sir Bops and Sir Beers, Sir Hawkins, Sir Dawkins, Sir Jocks and Sir Jeers, clatter into the tent, and while everyone cheers, stage a roustabout joust with their boxing glove spears. How about spears, jeers, cheers, fears? Whoa. And while all this wild ruckusing goes on below, at the top of the tent, look, the star of my show, great daredevil Sneelock, the world's bravest type. He comes pulled through the air by 3 Zoobrian snipe on a dingus contraption attached to his pipe. And while people below are all turning chalk white and all biting their fingernails off in their fright, great Sneelock soars up to a terrible height. That's a good one. White, fright, height, and snipe and pipe. Man, Dr. Seuss is getting good. Then he shakes himself loose. He starts down in a dive, such as no man on earth could come out of alive. But he smiles as he falls, and no fear does he feel. His nerves are like iron and his muscles like steel. And he plunges down with his hair still combed neat, 4,692 feet. Hey parents, that would be really great to have your kids write that out in number form, 4,692 feet. Have them see if they can write that number. That's awesome. Then he'll land in a fishbowl. He'll manage just fine. Don't ask how he'll manage. That's his job, not mine. Why, he'll be a hero. Of course he won't mind when he finds that he has a big circus behind. You know what I love about this book? Not just does it have great rhyming words, but it has a young boy that has a great imagination. Maybe you can see if you can write a good rhyming word story with imaginative things happening in it. I hope you guys have a really great day. Stay tuned later for Miss Bunny's Poetry Corner, and you guys have a great day.